scientific method cannot capture wonder. We can probably describe which part of my brain gets lit up by wonder and the chemical reactions that take place there, but it is the place of the human. It is our place to see and feel and express the wonder of existence. Houston Smith, the great scholar of comparative religion, once pointed out that science is a very powerful tool designed to capture important information about the nature of our world, the way a fisherman's net is designed to capture specific kinds of fish. Nevertheless, Smith wrote, values, life meanings, purposes, and qualities slip through science like the sea slips through the nets of a fisherman. Yet, he said, we swim in the sea. A few years ago, I took a number of courses in environmental ethics in the philosophy department at UT, and I absolutely loved them. But in one course that surveyed all the different forms of environmental ethics, I was struck by the fact that from a philosophical point of view, no one could demonstrate the intrinsic value of the environment, which is all around us and from which we ourselves come. Even though it may seem intuitively obvious to us, none of the brightest minds could make a cohesive philosophical argument for environmental ethics based on intrinsic value of the environment. It almost always had to be argued from the perspective of its value in relation to human beings or some other quality. It strikes me that this is the arena and the power of religious language. Our religious story begins with a declaration that the universe is more than a random quirk of fate. It is rooted in something. Spirit, we call it. It comes from something or someone who is not exactly a someone like anything or anyone we have ever known or imagined. But our story expresses a conviction that arises out of our sense, out of our experience of the universe as something sacred and ultimately good. Good down to the bone, good down to the atom and the photon, down to the very ground of being from which it comes. You see, when we speak of God as creator, we're not talking about the God of the gaps, as it has been called, some theological concept to just fill in the gaps in knowledge that science has not yet explained. No, we're talking about something that is even more fundamental to reality than all the forces and matter and energy that science defines so well. When we speak of God as creator, we're certainly not talking about an old man sitting on a cloud somewhere or on a golden throne overseeing everything. Limited as we are, we need images and metaphors of all kinds to give shape to our understanding of God, but those kinds of literalistic images have never been seen as true expressions of the nature of God in our tradition. No, when we speak of God as creator, we're talking about something beyond the grasp of all our words and images. We're talking about spirit. The Spirit from whom all things come, and in whom all things live and move and have being. We're talking about something ineffable, inexpressible, a wondrous mystery wrapped in light, who shines somehow in everything, illuminating our lives with meaning. No one has ever seen God, the Gospel of John tells us. No one has ever seen God. Yet the one we call Christ, the Anointed One, has made God known to us. That's the story of the Gospels. No one has seen God, yet Christ has made God known to us. Right alongside the wondrous mystery that is God, our faith also speaks about another wonder, the boundless love shown to us in Christ and in the good news he lived and breathed and proclaimed. It's still nearly incomprehensible to most of us that we could, let alone should, really love our enemies. Yet that is what Jesus said, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. Pray for them so that you may be children of God. For God makes the sun rise on the evil and the good and sends rain on the righteous and the unrighteous. And if we are honest, we have a hard time buying that. We just define who the good and the bad are and who the righteous and the unrighteous are in different ways. Sounds good, Jesus, sort of. But then Jesus not only said it, Jesus did it. All the way to his own unjust execution, where after his enemies nailed him to a cross, he prayed for their forgiveness.